welcome to part 5 of PMK Reads. This is Slanith, and obviously not PMK.
But I thought it was late night shenanigans with me.
It's changing every episode, God!
Oh. Hi.
Anyway, continue. Explain what you're reading now.
This time, I am reading People by Siren. This one is from Polish to English. So, it's only one chapter, so we might be able to do it in this single episode. Maybe. Probably. Anyway, War of Titans has always been extremely difficult. Can you find strength to continue this fight while other responses make it becomes even more difficult? Fanfic takes place after the events of Chapter 51 of Manga. Keep that in mind if you have not read the manga. You probably don't want to watch this one then. Because, so beware of spoilers. Yeah. Levi x Hanji, apparently. Anyway, Note Odotorska. Again, I warn you that this story contains spoilers from the 51 chapter manga it. Well, because it's my first fanfic in the world of Shingeki no Kyojin as possible, we'll see. Enjoy reading. Smiley face.
Damn smiley face. I'll probably put something in the title as well.
Yeah. People. The enemy of mankind were people. Hanji. Feeling that bend under her feet, she sat down on a sturdy wooden chair that creaked slightly under her weight. Just half an hour earlier, Levi Imu said that as long as it is not possible to confirm this new discovery. She was a scientist. She knew better than anyone that without experience you cannot even prove the correctness of the most ingenious thesis. And yet, as soon as the vision in her mind that all objects in the current experiments are human beings could not control engulfing her stupor.
What?
She watched his table littered with pieces of paper populated its chaotic, illegible notes. It's all related to people. Stabbing swords, 3DMG, the creatures that once were people. She put both hands on the table and rested her forehead on there. As the previous fight was not hard enough, with each mission soldiers lost their lives, knowing even one bit of truth always have to be paid for by the shed blood of the sea. Yes, they moved forward. But the closer they came to answer questions multiplying, extending to them, the road became more and more muddy, and the fog surrounding them with every step seemed to thicken. For the second time since entering the ranks of the Department of Scouts, that's a new one, she felt fear. What are the discoveries they will have to face yet? How deep will have to hide his humanity to lead humanity to victory? After a quiet room came the sound of rhythmic knocking. Hanji did not even look toward the entrance, but she said, "Come, Levi."
Ew.
After a quiet Zorgzitniyashi wooden door, she heard... After a quiet Zorgzitniyashi wooden door, she heard soft footsteps near Kiego, undoubtedly belonging to the captain. A moment later, she heard the creak came next. The dark-haired man certainly settled down in a chair facing the wall, the only piece of furniture Neil Bludzonem mountain of papers. "As there is always at your shitty mess, Uncle Narco," said in his usual very nice tone. Hanji turned her head toward him. "I beg your pardon, all of these notes are in order. To initiate this is a perfectly organized database," she said. "So you can only watch so messy as you," she smiled to herself. "And you, case you should not be on the way to their new branch? I'm leaving tomorrow at dawn." "Well, yes." For a moment there was silence, both with quilly eyes on the floor, immersing himself in his own thoughts. "Hanji," he asked her after a few minutes of Levi, still not looking up.
A few minutes of Levi. There you go, really folks. We have a new measure, units of time. We don't know how long it is, but a few minutes of Levi.
It's been a few minutes of Levi. I don't know what that means, but that's what it's been. Is it really possible that from the beginning they were enemies of humanity, people? His face was impassive as ever, but did not escape Zatniki's mind that his eyes had the same flash she had seen in him for the last time on the day of the death of Petra, Gunther, Aro, and Erda. "I told you that as long as we cannot confirm that any Titan with whom we fought was a man, it is possible that only a group of Rakako Titans were people." When she spoke these words, she wanted to believe that telling the truth. Maybe it was some kind of intermediate between those who were able to turn themselves in as Eren Titan and the other Titans. "Yes," said without conviction. She knew from the struggling man. For many years, they were called the hope of humanity, and in the light of new facts can be identified them as murderers. Hanji got up and went over to the dark-haired captain. She crouched in front of him before she looked him straight in the eye. "Levi, even if it's true, it in no way affects what needs to be done."
Well then.
"Trying to convince me of that myself, Okularniko," interrupted her. His relentless steel blue eyes seemed to pierce her through. That what the Shingeki branch sighed and smiled dryly. What?
What?
Why is there a branch? Why is it sighing? And how is it smiling? Maybe both of us? Whoa. The woman folded her arms on his knees, then leaned his head on them, tilting it slightly the way she's leaning his head on his own knees. Okay. Then tilting it slightly to the side. But I do know that nobody has the right to judge us. In addition to ourselves, finished for her. I think it's mean comfort when we are samey for yourself strictest judges.
What?
Exactly. Brown hair once again fell silent. Oh, that's her name now. I want to see that other fic we read before.
Yes,
like, blonde hair, purple hair. There was no purple hair. Well, it was all Levi. Always and everywhere, he said what he thought, refusing to feed the illusion even when he could afford it. Many people thought this behavior too rough and cold, but accounted for Hanji as one of the constant elements in the world, so that she could maintain inner balance. From the conclusion that the true character of the Titans may be people, her thoughts always revolved around its experimental facilities. Sani, creature, which plunked his spear into the heart, could ever take care of his wife and daughter. Maybe the blade pierced through her eye beam in the past belonged to a young man looking with hope to the future. However, his subsequent Levi, cool and rational questions, precipitated the subsequent arguments with his hands, forcing her to face the brutal truth face to face. She smiled to herself, and you would think that he came to her for support. After a while, man, do not interrupt the silence. He leaned his forehead on her head. In this situation, there were no words that could soothe the human heart full of doubt, but the gesture replaced what they could not give myself out loud. Why am I involved again? It took it till the last paragraph to involve me. Fantastic. Stable heartbeat, rhythmic breathing, body heat reminded them that they were still alive. And while we are still alive, no matter what they had to go forward, it was their duty to all those who died today, yesterday, years ago, 100 years ago. The proximity of another human being again realized to them why all this time they fought, and why they do not stop. Or no, I'm sorry. And why do not they stop?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh shit. Oh shit. So that's the end of that.
I will say, even though it was translated in somewhat slightly gibberish, it was decent actually.
Better than the last one. No
Yep.
offense, author. Wasn't as creepy.
Yeah, okay, so this one was barely Levi X Hanji. How much time is left anyway?
I extended it to 10 minutes since it was ending roughly before the stuff gets. So right now we have 130 seconds. 130.
Okay, let's do a quick analysis. No.
Wasn't that other one that was going by Hell? Oh god, Hell Colors. Hair Colors, another SNK.
I think it was like a crossover thing. I think.
Because I distinctly remember Armin being referred to as blonde hair.
Yeah.
And then it was also calling people opposite genders again.
Yeah, it does that a lot. Probably translation errors, but it makes it funny and confusing, and that's fun.
It did.
Yep. So, that's it for this story. Once again, if you guys have other fics you want to suggest to us in the comments below, make sure to let us know, or in private messages to either me or Slanith. Once again, I am and yeah, PMK94. That's what I meant to say. I was speaking gibberishiman.
You were speaking Polish again.
I was speaking gibberishiman.
Aha! I win!
But see, it was like
I win.
it was relatively decent until I got to the after a quiet and it just kind of ruined it.
Ow.
I don't even have the first idea how to pronounce that.
Well, you have time. Start trying.
Okay, Zigrizitinitiasio. That's probably slightly closer than I was before.
Well, yeah, you didn't go like...
I was trying to say it fast. So well. I have Pringles. Sponsor! Okay.
I won't get paid for that. Maybe they'll put me out the negatives for my income. Oh shit, that's a speaker. I will end this all. We'll see. Not me do that. Not me do that. I accidentally reeled into the tree I was spinning around on. I'll write the speech for the glory! Glory.
There is no glory for you.
Glory. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Ha! Anyway, that's the end of this video. I have 12 kills and 18 deaths. My max damage is 191.
Cool.
This has been part 5 and one more story in an entire part. If you like this, rate, comment, subscribe, and do all the other stuff he said earlier, involving new chapters.
You mean stories?
That too. Same thing, in the end. Bye?
Potato salad.